How's it going, everyone? My name is Brett. Welcome back to the channel. And tonight I am going to watch another developer live stream from the Dead Space Remake team. So yeah, this is Dead Space, The Sound of Fear Reimagined. So yeah, this is the post live stream video. So yeah, obviously I was asleep while the actual live stream was up and running, not too long ago. But yeah, we're gonna watch the almost 1 hour video. So yeah, it's actually been a while since we saw the last developer live stream, and well, yeah, that was a pretty good live stream. We got a little bit of information about this Space Remake, how it's going, ask a few questions, and of course, one of the big things about my excitement for the remake is, well, Isaac having a voice. So yeah. Obviously, this live stream is, I imagine this live stream is going to talk about, the sound and the audio side of the game. It says The Sound of Fear Reimagined. And of course, I did saw like 4 parts of smaller videos on their channel. I think they're like, the highlights of the stream, but I'll definitely take a look at that after this almost 1 hour video. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see what they're cooking in the oven for the Dead Space remake. So yeah, without further ado, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. Yeah, I do see like 5 tabs on the top screen. Yeah, right now they're just warming us up with the teaser trailer. Yeah, it looks like 1 is beyond teaser, 2 is audio, 4 isn't, a live system, and music. Okay. Just give it a moment to warm up. I mean, yeah, we've seen the teaser like many times before. But it's still a good teaser. And from what I've heard, it's still gonna take another year for the game to come out, which I'm not complaining. I would much rather them to take their time making this game. I don't want them to rush this game out the window. And we don't exactly want another Battlefield incident.
Bonjour à tous. Welcome to the second Dead Space for Dead Space. My name is Philippe Ducharme. I'm joined by Roman Coppa-Soriola, creative director, and Olivier Asselin, our audio director, because today the focus of the stream is on audio.
All right, audio.
The sound effects, the music, the ambiences of the original Dead Space were astounding. It helped create an environment that was super immersive for the players, and it was done extremely successfully. Olivier today will explain how we're leveraging the existing content to build an even more immersive experience and enhancing the content that was there in the initial game. Keep in mind that just like last time, everything that you're going to see today is going to be gyms. It's work in progress. So
you're work in progress.
You're going to see missing animation, broken animation, art that's placeholder, and that's all normal.
So nothing is final.
Nothing's final.
Yeah, we still have like another year
content
of development.
As it goes in to make sure that we're receiving feedback and we're able to show you all the game and hear what you think about what we're making.
Being very transparent about this,
is
which I do respect.
We want to see interactions on boards afterwards, so hopefully we're going to.
Also, I do like that little necromorph action figure just standing, well, sitting.
Today for the stream, we're also lucky to have one of our community council members that's joining us. So we have Jack Patillo with us. Hey, Jack.
Hi.
Thank you for joining.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you
so much for having me. He's from Rooster Teeth. Yeah. Like I was wondering, like, have I seen this guy before? Yeah, but yeah, it says right there, Jack from Rooster Teeth. Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Long time, and we get to yell at you guys, and you can shape the game as to how us hardcore Dead Space fans might want it, And I'm really excited today to see a final polished version of the game you've been promising.
Yes, I want this game to be very polished.
For a long time now, so it's gonna be cool to see it all working and 100% finished, right?
Thank you for your contribution, like always.
I want this to be 100% complete. No bugs, no crashes, no game breaking glitches. Again, we don't exactly want another Cyberpunk or Battlefield incident.
Let's get this started with a first look at the high-level pillars.
Cool. So, hello everyone. I'm really thrilled and honored to represent the audio team today, and I have the opportunity to share with you some of the work in progress. As developer, it's great to be able to share that early with the community. So many thanks to everyone involved in making this happening. Special thanks to the audio team. Okay, we've got a group of talented and very passionate designers And as you will see with the upcoming examples, they are really committed to make that game an amazing and immersive experience. And nice to have you with us also, Jack.
Oh boy.
Absolutely. Hey, Ollie, real quick, before we get into it, so you're the audio director of the game. So what exactly does that mean? Does that mean like you're the one making the noises, you're playing the keyboards, you're making the squishy sounds and recording it? Like what is your role exactly as audio director? Because that could mean literally anything.
Yeah,
But
anything.
making squishy sound is always part of our background for sure. As an audio director, my role is more to collaborate with Roman and Phil, and also all the core leads, and working with the audio team too to make sure that it's a facilitating role basically. So to help them being creative and making sure that they stay focused. So a lot also of work towards like a gyrotask and stuff like that, and making presentation also.
And making game sound with your mouth.
Yeah, always. Always
So
start from
live streaming was always part of your role.
there. No, never.
Okay.
First.
Pretty green with that. That's okay. It's gonna be fine. So, but
Nice.
a part of our job, Jack, is also
I got my energy drink.
to help the team understand what we're doing. I call that the audio evangelism.
Snow cone flavor,
Talk
if
about
you're-
audio,
if you're
we
wondering.
talk about what we can do. Part of it is to look at our pillars in the game. So before we start with the good,
All right.
the cool
Should we do the
stuff,
original?
I always like to see what is our thought process behind.
I think I'm gonna turn
Where
this
are
up.
we from?
That's real video game under the hood. Like it's PowerPoint, Jira and stuff. So starting with the PowerPoint, it's our daily job. That's the
always
real
good.
stuff, always.
Because it's also something that comes back
Yeah.
regularly in our thought to say, hey, we need to make sure that we stay focused. So how do
Stay
we stay
focused.
true to the original game? And for us, that means always start from there. Always look at the game first before we start a chapter. We play the chapter for the original before we start a feature. We look at the original data, not only the data, but also how it was made behind the hood, under the hood, or behind the door, depends. But actually, once you've got that, we put that in game the same way it was in Dead Space. And after that, that allows us to understand what is the part that is working and what are the parts that needs to be bonified, to have a slight bonus, to add here and there slight things, to make sure that we create the best game possible. So always use the existing foundation and predefined soundscape, but build on it.
Pretty much take what worked and build upon it.
I appreciate that too, because I mean, obviously, like, there's a lot of Dead Space fans out there that are so passionate about the original. And I love that you're not just tossing it. You're like, that is,
Yes.
that's the Bible. You know, you start there, and then you work on like, how can we improve what we did, you know, all those years ago. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that a whole lot. I know a lot of other people do as well.
Yeah, the soundscape of Dead Space is very solid in the first place. So we need to make sure that we stick to it as much as possible. So it's really cool. So quickly, let's have a look at what we're going to look at
Sound
today.
in space,
We're gonna look at four
weapons,
features
alive,
that was
ambience.
in, Dead
Not exactly
Space.
sure what the alive part
Start
means,
on
but
the
whatever.
technical side of thing with what we call environmental audio, or how does the sounds is playing in 3D around Isaac. Then
Yeah, I think I'm
we'll
actually
have
gonna
a
turn it up.
glimpse at Isaac tools, the Dead Space weapon. We're going to look at the Alive system. The Alive system is the non-verbal reaction of Isaac.
Non-verbal.
Isaac breathing, his heartbeat. And then finally, we're going to look at all of this together in-game and ambient mood.
Yeah, in gameplay.
I just gotta say, I love the fact that it says ambiance over a severed hand floating through space covered in blood. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, like you go to like a massage parlor or something, it's like you hear like forest sounds and nice nature sounds or the ocean, and it's like, no, this is severed hands is our ambience going on here.
Yeah.
You guys have nailed it.
Severed ends, gore floating in zero G.
It gets the tone right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that's the tone.
And creepy singing. So, you know, that's it gets you into the mood immediately.
Little star.
All right, let's start, Oli, with sounds in
start.
space.
So sound in space, what do we mean by that? Just before we start, obviously I talked about the environment in 3D. It's also the distance filtering, the obstruction and the occlusion. So Jean-François, Mike, and Diego put together a video that will explain and showcase our approach to towards environmental audio.
Let's watch the video.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm excited.
This is Jeff Tremblay, lead sound designer and lead audio tech on Dead Space Remake. Today, we will be showing some of the technical improvements we have made for the remake. Later in this video, we will have Mike Dominiak, technical sound designer, and Diego Marayo, senior audio programmer, showing you in-game example, comparing between DS1 and the remake, as well as going over the technical implementation behind the scene. But before going to the details, I would take a bit of time to go over some of the basic audio concepts we will be referring in this video. The occlusion is when a sound is behind a wall, a door, or a large object that completely blocks the direct and reflected indirect signals. In this example, the sound cannot reach the listener, so we say that the sound is completely occluded or blocked. In Dead Space, most walls are thick metal, so if the sounds are outside the room and the door is closed, so any exterior sounds would be silenced. In other cases, we will have glass windows on which we can tell the system to let through a little bit of the sound. So the result would be a muffled, filtered direct signal and a muffled indirect diffuse signal.
So yeah, we're definitely getting into the more technical side, so I might be a little silent for a while.
Potentially reach the listener. In this example, the sound is behind an object or wall, but some indirect signal could reach the listener by bending around the corners of the object or by being reflected on the walls. The result will be a muffled direct signal and clear unfiltered indirect signal. Portals. We refer to portals as volumes we place on doors or placed at specific locations in the levels. And at runtime, the occlusion node made by Diego select the most logical portal to play the sound from. Along with sending the corrected position, it also sends the correct path distance for the sound to reach the listener. The result is a more accurate sound positioning and distance attenuation and filtering. Alright, let's now listen to how these concepts applies in the context of the game.
Let's start with reminding ourselves what the original Dead Space sounded like. Looking at the headbanger corridor, you can hear as soon as the door opens, the sound is coming from the right side of the screen.
Yeah, it's coming from my right.
The sound should realistically be traveling down the corridor to Isaac, but standing here, you can actually hear the sound coming through the wall.
Yeah, audio is so important.
As we come around the corner, you will notice minimal audible changes to the sound position and obstruction. In the remake, there will be much more noticeable mix changes when standing here and the sound is not obstructed, to when I move around the corner and the sound is actually blocked. Now, let's take a look at our in-progress remake.
Alright. Again, very rough, but again, we're still like at least 1 year away.
You can hear the sound is now coming from the left, at the end of the corridor.
I can actually see like the X-ray in those lines.
And the lines between them are the path the sound is traveling to get to Isaac.
But yeah, so far it looks like it's a bit of an improvement, just slightly.
We lock the sound to a third of the portal from the direction it is coming from to keep the correct directionality.
I do wonder if we're gonna be able to hear, Gunnar Wright, his performance.
We also use this same system for sound passing through to an attached room.
What area is this again? Yeah, is this a new area?
As the door closes, we start applying mix changes to the sound.
I don't quite recognize it.
When the door is fully closed, we move the sound source to the window and apply even heavier mix changes.
And that muffle.
Thanks you for your little spark. He could not see.
Alright, so far I'm impressed with the audio.
If you did not twinkle, twinkle little
Oh wait, hold on. I think I know where we are. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It just looks like a completely new area to me.
Since this room has no window, we are cutting the sound completely as the door closes.
Dead
We have the
silence.
ability to choose what sounds are let through the doors, so not every sound will be called if we do not want them to be.
Okay.
For you never shut your eye till the sun is in the sky. Though I
But yeah, I think this might be a new area that they're gonna add because I don't quite
This
recognize
system
it.
also works vertically.
know star, how I wonder
Alright.
up above.
The way the system works is by creating a map of the areas that are reachable by the player considering the surrounding openings like doors and windows. Then, when a new sound starts playing, we can check in the map we have previously generated if the sound is audible and what is the shortest path to Isaac. We update this map at regular intervals but much less often than the sounds themselves, because it's expensive and its data does not change very often. But having this information allows us to calculate a more physically accurate position of the sound very quickly.
Dark, thanks you for your little spark.
Alright. So good shit.
That is so cool, you guys.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'd never seen anything like that. I mean, I know I played a whole lot of games before, but I've never really seen those kind of tools being used in a game. I know they probably have in some other games, but how important was it for you guys to develop that tool for the Dead Space remake?
Very important.
Well, that was one of the first discussion I think we had together as a production.
It's at least top
team.
priority.
How do we make sure that we've got a 3D audio that stands for the current gen platform? So we really put a lot of effort and a lot of focus on how does the audio play back inside the Ishimura and how we're going to be able to filter that and make sure that it's believable.
One thing that is really important also in terms of gameplay into Dead Space in the experience, it's the physical reality of that world. That the Ishimura feels like an actual place. You have all those physics-based powers, you can cut the necromorph, and all of those things needs to feel real. And one thing we wanted to enhance on audio was to give the same type of approach to the physics of the actual sounds and how they reverberate in the ship, etc., to really make that place something living in which you can believe.
Nice. I'm just excited by like all of these new
Yeah, just
things
slightly
going into the game
blown
that I
away.
never thought of before. Now, I know like one thing, Ollie. So like when I hear a car drive down the street, I can always hear the bass of the car before anything else. Is that something that you guys can do in the game, like with this tool, where you can actually make it where like certain frequencies hit you sooner rather than later, or like they travel further than other frequencies?
Yeah, we've got the choice for each sound or group of sound to apply a certain value to the obstruction and occlusion, as Mike mentioned in the video, but also to filter through distance differently based on the frequency spectrum. So we can apply a curve that will mimic how sounds will be influenced by the distance.
So wait till you hear the Leviathan growling in the depth of the Ishimura. That will be fucking awesome.
Oh man, I'm pumped to see everything you guys are working on right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Even something like I would never think about that stuff about like the audio occlusion, and I know like is that something like Phil and Roman, is that something you guys are working on to use to like maybe manipulate a player where like they hear something coming from one side but they're actually being attacked from another side? Like I know like head fakes are always been a big thing in Dead Space. Is that something you guys are going to take advantage of?
Definitely something that we want to use to make the player believe something's coming in a threat in a certain direction. So it's more levers in our toolbox to make sure that we're able to surprise the player and catch him off guard.
And just generally trying to scare the crap out of you.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, I'm excited to see more. What else we got next?
Yeah, what's next?
Let's talk a bit about, we mentioned it at the beginning, the tools
The
of Isaac,
weapons.
Because in
All
Dead
7 of them,
Space,
probably.
most of the weapons
Maybe
are
even
not
more.
necessarily classic weapon. They are more like tools
Yeah, they're tools.
Isaac is an engineer.
Yeah, like all the weapons in Dead Space 1, they weren't meant to be used. They're not meant to be used as weapons. They're supposed to be cutting tools.
We keep the personality of the weapon of the original, but add distinctive detail that will make those weapons, feels like tools, like engineering element. So,
Like cutting
everything you
or
will see
sawing in
right now,
half or
it's
burning
based on
something,
that train of thought. We've got
pushing
two
back.
prototype. Once again, it's prototype.
Riveting,
We
yeah.
collaborate with Stefan and Paul from Sweet Justice for this redesign. And both example, you will first hear Dead Space 1 original and then our remodel prototype. So if everyone is okay with that.
So once again, it's really work in progress for everything, visual, VFX, models, especially animation for the weapon. It's early.
Again,
there's a lot
prototype,
missing,
early,
so
in progress.
just a quick disclaimer.
Not final.
Hello, I am Michael Dominic, the technical audio artist on Dead Space. I will be showing you the in-progress plasma cutter and pulse rifle today.
All right, plasma cutter and pulse rifle.
Let's get started with the plasma cutter and have a listen to what we are remaking.
That's the original. Yep, I know what that sounds like because well, I played the game like a million times.
Now let's have a listen to where we are at with our updated version.
Alright. Alright. Definitely an interesting sound effect. Alright.
When we are designing a weapon, we approach them in many different layers.
Yeah,
All of the red
layers.
and blue boxes
Like
outlined in
onions.
this picture represent another layer that is being played on each shot of the weapon. Now let's take a listen to some of these layers one at a time, so we can really hear each element that's being played.
Alright. Okay. Alright. Yeah, the echoing.
That's all we have for the plasma cutter today,
Alright.
but let's take a sneak peek at comparing the original pulse rifle with our in-progress version.
Alright, so it looks like it's been slightly modified. Just slightly. Kind of slides like a pulse rifle. Well, obviously, this is the original. Alright. Yeah, is it me or does the new pulse rifle have a slower rate of fire? Alright.
Oh, don't hear you, Jack.
Not hearing Jack.
Jack.
That's
What? Sorry, guys. I apologize. What does Isaac have against those walls? He seems very upset at those walls. Did they do something to him or talk smack about his mom or something?
He was hearing the necromorphs on the other side because of.
just being paranoid.
Just shoot a hole right through it. Now, Ollie, that's fascinating to me. The idea of so many layers of audio just for one little sound bite. Is there ever a point where it's like there's too much audio, like we have too many layers going on right here, or
Nah,
is it
I don't
kind
think
of
so.
keep throwing things at it?
No, it's clearly a point. We always reach a moment where, even for a single feature like a weapon or for the entire mix, where the amount of frequency is too much in one area or the other. So it's how do we mix together all the audible frequency spectrum of each element and make sure that they have a purpose in the overall view of the game. So it's about how do we mix your element individually or at the granular level, but how do they interact with the world?
That's cool, and like
Very
it's
cool.
fascinating to me that like that the the plasma cutter, all the weapons will sound different based on the location you're shooting them in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
in
basically what you're
vacuum.
trying to do. If you're in a big room, you will have like, but not only the weapon, but everything that the weapon will cause, impact on the walls or impact on the necromorph, to have the reflection and the reverb of each individual room.
No, that's cool. And one thing I love that you guys have done now, you could really tell in the layers, was the fact that you have the mechanical components of the plasma cutter. You can hear like that physical, like the metal scratching on metal and stuff, as well as the kind of more sci-fi, like the pew pew type noises and stuff as well. And it's because of that, like thinking about that, usually, you have to base something on something else. You kind of get a reference point at some point.
Yeah.
What do you have to reference? Is there anything that exists on planet Earth that you could reference
Like
as
an
a
actual plasma cutter? I mean, it's
that
mostly
fires
just, like a little
bolts
torch.
like this, or is it just something you just made up?
Well, it's obviously something that we looked at first. We look at Dead Space. We try to isolate the iconic element of the plasma cutter to make sure that it still sounds like the original weapon somehow. But after that, it's adding element here and there. Obviously, we look a lot at different tools, all those mechanical elements that make the plasma cutter turn, add those little details here and there to make them feels like they are mechanical, they are turning. It's actually like creating something.
We have a lot of discussion and really serious design meetings about thinking about how would it sound to actually use a power drill in someone's arms, and what would be that sound and that feeling. So it's a real serious job.
You're like bring in the intern. Let's see what it sounds like. Come on, guys. That sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
Now, you've talked about a couple times throughout the stream here about going back and using some of the material from the very first game. Are you using actual like sound files from the first game, or is everything being completely remade, or how does that work?
Our first idea there is always start with the original. So we dig, and we did a lot of archaeological search.
Yeah, you guys did a lot of digging.
The game data, but not only the game data, the backup that the team had at the time. We look
And
at
all the
how
notes.
they build stuff. We've got lots of original recording, original source. So it's always to look at both, say can we extract from that? Because sometimes we don't have everything. We've got only the end result, and is the end result is what we need necessarily, or we need to look at redoing something that is similar. So it really depends of the feature itself, and the result of our search.
But it's also,
That is so cool.
It's a great way for us to have a solid starting point that stays true to the original, and from there be able to see and determine where do we want to enhance the experience, and on the audio it's the same thing that we're doing.
And so one place
I love the
where
idea
we
of
also want to
using archaeology, like the idea of like an archaeologist of video games, and wearing a fedora and a bullwhip, going through and pulling out all the old files. That's
exactly
pretty rad.
what-
Something you don't think about, but I guess I've got hard drives I know around here that are probably 10 years old that I don't know what's on them. So I imagine that was a huge process with this.
I mean, I recently went through like
It was
old
a fun
papers
process, too.
from like
It's
high
always
school.
cool to see like, hey, okay, you find stuff. Sometimes you find gold when you do that too. You find things that you didn't know was still existing. So it's really an interesting process for sure.
That's so cool.
All right,
Man.
so let's move on actually to the next component,
Next.
Ollie, for the live system.
So we're gonna put ourselves in Isaac boots. As
All
I
right.
mentioned, a live system is the breathing of Isaac and his heartbeat, and we're gonna look at that on a video with our senior sound designer, Terry Calico.
My name is Terry Calico, and I'm the senior VO designer on Dead Space. In the original Dead Space, Isaac's breathing and heartbeat was such an integral part of the player's connection with Isaac in building immersion and emphasizing the horror experience. Breathing is a huge part of Dead Space, and horror films in general, that enhance the feeling of being alone and vulnerable.
And of course,
For
being
Dead
in space because,
we're
well,
looking
there's
back
no
at the
oxygen in
core
space.
functionality of the original, and not only bringing that experience forward, but we're finding ways we can improve it to a level that exceeds expectations in today's generation of games. In the original Dead Space, you would hear Isaac's breathing change and heartbeat ramp up over time when sprinting, when low on health, low on oxygen, during combat, and spike for jump scares or scripted events. All of that will be there. A couple of improvements, for example. In the original, when Isaac was sprinting or injured, you would hear additional grunts to emphasize his level of exertion play simultaneously over top of the base breathing rate. Exertions, such as melee and stomp, also played over top of the breathing rather than interrupt it. If you listened carefully, you were hearing two voices at the same time. The exerted breaths didn't interject the base breathing. For Dead Space, we're building a system that supports transitioning respiratory rates through fatigued and low health states seamlessly.
Alright.
As another example, in the original, when Isaac was gasping for air while running out of oxygen, exiting the vacuum of space or using an oxygen refill would instantaneously and unnaturally revert Isaac back to a calm breathing state, as if nothing had happened.
Yeah.
Exiting vacuum.
Fresh air.
For Dead Space, you can expect to hear Isaac catch his breath as he recovers from a lack of oxygen. Let's have a listen to this prototyped in game with some placeholder content.
Yeah, breathe.
And as Isaac catches his breath, you hear it transition back smoothly into the base breathing cycle. For Dead Space, we're building what is called the Alive system.
Alive.
It encompasses all components of Isaac's breathing and heart rate, vocal exertions, and dialogue, influenced by a variety of driving gameplay features. The limbic system is the part of the brain that controls behavioral and emotional responses, such as anxiety and fear. When you watch a horror movie or play a scary game, the limbic system can trigger a release of adrenaline into the body, causing a physical response, such as increased heart rate. In our game, adrenaline is derived from various values driven by external factors that have a direct influence on Isaac's heart rate BPM. External factors that act as adrenaline are the combat difficulty value, scripted events and jump scares, Isaac's fatigue level, Isaac's oxygen level, and Isaac's health. We want Isaac to reflect how anyone would physically react in the scenario he's placed in, and vice versa, use that to influence the player to feel the same response. For Isaac's scripted dialogue lines, where the player maintains full control of Isaac, we will have 3 variations of each line to pick from based on his current state: a normal version, a fatigued version, and an injured version.
Alright.
Let's have a listen to how Isaac's fatigue level or being in a low health state can impact Isaac's scripted dialogue in-game.
Oh boy.
Nicole,
Oh.
it's me. Nicole,
Alright.
it's me.
So yeah, I think that might be kind of right there.
Nicole, it's me.
Alright.
Making up Isaac's vitals are his heart rate, respiratory rate, oxygen level, and health. As Isaac is 43 years old, I studied average heart and respiratory rates for his age group at different levels of fitness to land on Isaac's base heart rate of 70 BPM to build up from. As heart
Yeah,
rate
Isaac's getting old for this shit.
his respiratory rate increases as well. I broke down the respiratory rates into 7 breathing cycles mapped out across 7 correlating heart rate BPM zones. Each cycle also has fatigued and injured modifiers.
Alright.
All right, let's have a listen to how Isaac's breathing is behaving in game. One
Yeah,
thing
is
to
this
note,
the cargo
breathing
bay?
and exertion samples that you'll be hearing in game are not gunner right. These are placeholder samples that we recorded for testing all of this functionality out in game as we were building it. And here on screen is our Alive monitor. This is some debug information that we've put together to see Isaac's current breathing cycle, his heart rate, what his breathing state is, if he's inhaling or exhaling, what his fatigue level is, his oxygen level, his health, and the current combat intensity. And if we have Isaac's sprint here, over time, you'll start to see his fatigue level increase.
Let's speed it up.
And when Isaac's fatigue level gets past a certain threshold, you'll start to hear fatigued breaths, exerted breaths start to mix in with his regular base breathing rate.
Yeah, the audio is going to be so insane.
And when Isaac stops sprinting, you'll see his fatigue level start to go down, his heart rate will come down, and his respiratory rate will slow down as well.
All right.
Here we have Isaac in a very low health state. He's injured. And when he moves around in this state, we start to introduce little winces of pain mixed into his breathing cycle.
All right. Yeah, as I was going to say, I think it's going to be like, hold on, let me try to rephrase it. Okay, so you guys know how I don't really talk a whole lot, so I think that might benefit when I do my Let's Play on this game.
And fatigue state at the same time. So hearing those injured winces, those fatigue breaths mixed in with his regular breathing actually sounds quite natural.
But yeah, since I don't really talk a whole lot, I think that might benefit my experience once the game released. That way I can appreciate the audio.
And wrapping up the Alive system, we have exertions. These are single one-off exertion events that interrupt or interject between base breathing loops. For example, melee, stomp, hit reactions, and death. Exertions, for the most part, will end in exhales and restart the breathing loop back up on an inhale. However, the breathing system will have the flexibility to have the option to start the breathing loop back up on an exhale or inhale, depending on the content.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek into some of the things we're doing with audio to make Isaac come alive.
Man, that is wild.
Yeah, it's very wild.
Of work and thought to go into. You're developing a hypothalamus for a video game character. That's incredible. And I gotta say, Isaac should probably maybe start the Couch to 5K program. He needs to work on that stamina buildup. I think.
Yeah,
right
that
there.
stamina.
Now, Ollie, do you have any idea how many like breaths are in this game? Obviously, there's different variations of it, but like how many inhale, exhales do you think have been recorded or are going to be recorded for Dead Space?
Probably
As Terry
hundreds.
mentioned in the video, right now it's all temp asset that we recorded, but we're expecting Gunner to be out of breath anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because there's a
That's
lot
not
of
going to be
detail.
easy actually, because he's in a really, really good shape. The guy has a,
Oh, yeah?
has a real, has a real cardio.
Now, who gets to tell Gunner that he has to do 3 versions of every single line of dialogue in the game? Does he know that yet, or is that something you're going to be like, here's the script and the second version of the script and the third version of the script?
I think I might be well aware of
in a few
that.
days.
That was part of the deal actually.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna make him out of breath when he's gonna record. He's gonna have fun on the treadmill.
Yeah, Gunner's gonna be busy for a while.
That's good, man. That is wild. Like that's stuff that you never think about, and it's one of those things that when you guys do it in such a high quality fashion, you don't think about it. It just feels natural, and you've done such a good job with that so far. And just this early look, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like when it's final polish version of the game, which we're very close to, right, gents? We're just almost done, almost ready.
No.
Not yet. That's,
Yeah, not yet.
It's still all pre-alpha, and
Again, the game's probably gonna be out within like a year or so.
That's for sure.
Okay.
There's a lot
Yeah,
of
pretty much next year,
Everything that
2023.
we've seen, like, I've been excited to see like the progress that we've seen. So from the community team, we've been watching this since before announcement, and just to see how far it's made over the course of the months we've been a part of it has been incredible. And I'm psyched that you guys are showing off some of the stuff that we get to see early to the larger community, because Dead Space fans are rabid. And any little like nugget of morsel we can get is very exciting.
And just trying to scrounge up any information we can get.
Sharing this with the larger crowd. So, oof, Now, what do we got next? What do we got next? I want
what's
to
next?
see more.
Let's share a bit more then.
A bit more then we're gonna go in game anytime soon. But just before we go in game,
Ambience.
we're gonna quickly talk about one of the elements that is super important, obviously, for the entire Dead Space experience. It's the music. Okay, it provides
music.
a
Close
very
enough.
amazing effect in Dead Space 1. The score from Jason Graves is amazing, and it was well praised by both critic and fan. It used dark, organic, orchestral music that dynamically change at runtime based on gameplay parameters. Super effective at setting up the mood of being responsive to specific game stimuli. So for us, I bring back the pillars that we talked about from the beginning to like demonstrate that they are applied all over the place for us. What does it mean to be true to the original? It means that we're gonna reuse both the way the music was playing, but also the original score. But once again, as for all the other feature, we're looking for elements that we would like to add as a bonus, as an enhanced experience. So for that, we would like the music of Dead Space to evolve with the narrative.
Yes,
to
evolve.
change, to support the story. And for that, we're working with our composer, Trevor Gurikis. And fun fact, we just out of a recording 2 weeks ago. We did a cool recording, and we've got a little glimpse for you coming up.
All right. And a build up. Okay.
Now, why are violins the scariest instrument that exists? Like, that's so it's like immediately like, your skin starts crawling because it's like, I don't like this. Something's going on.
There's clearly something about the strings that makes this a bit creepy right away, that's for sure. And the way that has been used there helped quite a lot. But we've got other tools in our back pocket to scare people with music. We've got plenty of little things coming up.
And I can't wait to see more of that. And I love the fact that you have different elements of it, so you can manipulate that and play different things at different times to really mess with your brain. That's very, very cool.
Clearly, what you just saw is the string section, but we've got also like we can record the brass, the perk separately, and after that, it's the same way as the weapon. Basically, we record in layers. So
Yes,
you can
layers.
play back in layers. In certain places, you will hear only certain element, and after that, dynamically, when the players are playing, we put all those things together and make them fluctuated with the gameplay.
That's so awesome. Okay, well, speaking of putting everything together, I think now everyone wants to see maybe some like gameplay, like all of this
Yes.
kind of squished together in a live demo, perhaps. Is that
I
something
see
we
that
could
controller.
Guess that's where we are.
Definitely where we're going to switch. And again, the same old disclaimers, right? Everything's final, Jack. That's it.
100%
Again, prototypes.
polished, ready to go.
Not
Yeah,
everything
early
yet.
alpha.
Everything that we're showing
it out.
again today
Work in
is
progress.
First pass in terms of visuals, animation, even lighting, etc. There's still a long way to go before
Yes.
polishing and finishing the game experience. But still, we wanted to give you a glimpse at where we are.
Yes, give
today.
us a
And
slight
how
taste.
all those elements we talk about today actually converge together to participate to enhance the Dead Space experience.
All right. Maintenance bay. All right. Okay. I know where we are. So interesting. They use a different door for the entrance of this area. Like normally you would take an elevator to get to that area in chapter 1. All that. Also, I like the dripping water. At least I hope that's water. Yeah, this already gave me some, well, Alien vibes. You know, the first film. Yeah, the audio. But yeah, I get the feeling that the audio is definitely gonna fuck me. It's definitely gonna fuck with me. You know, once we actually get to play it next year. Alright. Yeah, better reload. Okay. Oof. Okay.
Wow.
That was pretty good.
That's amazing. I love it. It's so great. I love watching developers do playthroughs because you guys do those slow pans and look
Yes, the
arounds that
slow
are very
pans.
dramatic and very pretty. Where
Yes,
meanwhile I'm gonna be
very-
playing the
very-
game just running from spot to spot,
Yeah,
trying
very
not to get
frantically.
murdered. So I appreciate that. That looks incredible. Congratulations, guys. And now we heard a whole lot of stuff going on there. I think I even heard like the violins at one point. Do you know how many layers of audio across gunfire
lots of
and like,
layers.
just the general creak of the ship and music? Like how many layers of audio can be playing at one time?
Oh, there's a lot of layer that could play at runtime, and this is the magic of dynamic mixing right there. It's like
And of course, future
we
technology.
establish, as developer, we establish rule in which like, hey, when those conditions apply, then certain things will change dynamically at runtime. So in the end, it's the player that will provide the end result. So we're trying to just applying certain rules that say like, hey, when those conditions arrive, then this will lower 3 dB, the music will rise a certain amount. So it depends really of the gameplay. There's a lot of layers, so we don't have the choice. As I explained earlier, it's like the frequency range is that wide, and when lots of frequency just add on, at one point it's too much. So we need to choose where you put your focus, basically.
It depends on what's on screen, how close to the player they are, all those kind of things.
Man, I mean, I imagine there's like a lot of math in there too. I never thought math
Yes,
was
a lot of
a big
math.
part of audio, but I guess so. It's absolutely incredible, and just the way that it all layers together, and the music, and how it all it's so well done, and it adds such a cool element to the game, and just immediately just immerses you in the whole thing, and it's fantastic. And now just the idea of like that room and just the general noise of it. Ollie, do you go to sleep at night and that's all you can hear? Like, are you just surrounding yourself with this kind of audio? Like, did you spend a lot of time in submarines? Are you used to this?
Submarines.
He hasn't been sleeping since we started the project, so he doesn't know. But
No, actually, obviously, we're
man,
passionate
it
people,
is so cool.
so there's something that we always think about. So it happened many times that you hear a sound and saying that will be perfect for that feature, but that's a part of our life, and it's really cool to have the chance to work on that project that drive that passion. So really.
all right, well,
It's everything I've heard so far sounds fantastic.
Yes, very excellent.
Like, kudos to everybody on the team, Montreal and everywhere in the world for their hard work. Still a long way to go, but
Yes.
definitely we need to do a huge shout out to the team. We have a lot of people that are extremely passionate in the work, and it shows when we're starting to put all the pieces together. We only saw a glimpse of that work today, but there's a lot more coming, and it's actually something that I wanted to say today, that we're going to do another dev stream in just a couple of weeks.
All right, in a couple of weeks.
Early May. We're
Early
going
May.
to do a follow-up to this dev stream with an art live stream. Yeah, I see your hand, Jack. I'll get to you. But just like we're going to do a art live stream in just a couple of weeks, early May, where we're going to have Mike Yazijan, our art director, that's going to be with us, having a first look at art. Well, I think Ollie's just set the bar pretty high, so great work, Ollie. And now I'll get to your question, Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack down here in Austin. I know you guys are up there. You said like we're getting close. Can you give us a general range, maybe, or as close as you can get to like when we can get our hands on? I know this is the gold final version of the game we've been watching now, but like maybe the final version of the game when you're ready to put it on shelves. When can we see Dead Space in our house?
The final
Next year.
final version of it. Well, we want to make sure that we're in a place where the game that we're going to deliver is going to be delivering on the expectations of fans, and that's what's most important.
A polished game.
So right now, we'll say early next year.
Early next year.
We have a date in mind. We want to make sure that everything converges for this. We're actually just a couple of weeks away from being able to do our first full walkthrough of the game.
Not even alpha yet.
Exactly. We're still pre-alpha, but we believe that we're going to be in a solid position to be able to do the proper polish, the proper debug, and to meet the date that we have in mind. But for now, I'll say early next year, Jack, to your question.
Cool.
All right. That's better than some nebulous in the future. So I appreciate that.
All right. So
it's better than
thank you, Jack.
sometime
thank
later.
you, Ollie. Thank you,
Like,
Roman,
so
for
big.
participating in Deathstream.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. I hope that you've enjoyed what you saw today.
I definitely enjoyed what I saw.
That we've showcased.
I'm very excited.
Please participate in comments. We want to see your thoughts. We want to see what we did right, what we did wrong. Hopefully not too much.
I say you guys are doing pretty good.
And so
Yeah, no
thanks a lot,
real major
everyone,
complaints.
And hope you have a great, fantastic day. Oh, wow.
All right. Thanks for watching. So yeah, I guess that's all. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, cool. All right, everyone. So yeah, that was the audio developer live stream for the Dead Space remake. So yeah, I'm definitely pleased with what I saw. So yeah, and we are gonna get another live stream, pretty soon. They said May, yeah. So yeah, a couple of weeks we'll see the live stream, and we'll see a little bit more on the art side. But so far, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like I really hope that EA doesn't fuck this up. Like if you guys don't know, their last major game that they released, Battlefield 2042, yeah, that was a complete disaster. I mean, if EA hasn't learned from that point at that point, then well, God help us, I guess. But of course, I am very hopeful that this game does launch at a complete state. No bugs, no glitches, no crashes or anything like that. I truly expect this game to come out with a bang. And yeah, now of course, like I said, this is EA we're talking about, so they might fuck it up. But if they do fuck it up, I'll be there to criticize it. I'll be there to smack down the criticism. Like, hey, you should have delayed this game. This should have been a polished game. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the game will definitely come out. About early next year. Yeah, the game will come out in early next year, whether it be in January, February, March, or in April. And I had a feeling that they might push it to next year, to 2023. And yeah, since it is going to be, if it is going to come out in 2023, then that would be pretty much a 10-year anniversary since the last time we had a Dead Space game. The last time we had a Dead Space game was back in 2013, and the remake is coming out in 2023. So yeah, that's pretty much a good 10 years. So yeah. But yeah, as for the audio side, yeah. Everything sounds good, all the noises and the ambience, and of course we did heard a little bit of Gonna Write, voicing as Isaac. Of course, all he really said was Nicole and that, but of course there were different layers of how, in this remake there's gonna be different versions of how Isaac's gonna talk, whether it be in a normal voice or exhausted voice or low health voice. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting how Isaac's gonna dynamically talk in the remake. So yeah, and yeah, that's just the one thing I'm very excited the most. Is just being able to hear Isaac talking in the remake, because like I love the first game, I really do. But if there's one thing that I would have liked for the Dead Space, for the original Dead Space to have as well, having Isaac being able to talk, because in the first game, Isaac never talked, and well, I mean, like it wasn't a complete deal breaker. It didn't kill the game for me, but it would have been nice. Like it would have been icing on the cake, and that's pretty much what this Dead Space remake is gonna be. Like we got the cake, like pretty much the Dead Space 1 experience that we had all these years ago. That's the cake, and the icing is pretty much all the little things. The art, the graphics, the audio, and all the the changes and the quality of life improvements, and yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next live stream and being able to play this game in early next year. So yeah, I think I might do like a Road to Dead Space remake sometime later. Playing the original 3 games, something like that. But we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much my reaction on the developer live stream. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.
Thank you.